Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Selenium Tech Automation. So in this tutorial, we are going to discuss about what is Log4j and why we need to use these Log4j in our Selenium concept or inside our projects. Okay, so why we have to use these loggings means, so suppose if we are executing all our scripts, okay, so we are getting some console messages with the help of system.out.println line, right? So instead of using system.out.println line, so we can use these log4j's, so where we can capture all our script execution logs inside our console part. Okay, so before that, so first of all, what is login, what is logging here? So logging is a process of how the application are behaving or executing, which will give some overall idea of your application performance, right? So for example, if I am like working with some online application, that is Amazon application, so where I am logging in and after that where I am navigating to home page, so in between these two pages navigation, so I want to know how this application is performing and what is this application is doing, okay, on these two pages. So to capture all this information, so we have to use some loggers, right? So with the help of these loggers, we can easily mention the messages. So what you want, suppose if you entered some username inside that login user text field, so I want to know whether it is entered properly or not. So if it is entered properly, so I will get some logger message like the username entered successfully. If it is not entered and it is not clicked on that element, so I want to get the logging information. Okay, it is very useful when we are working with the large applications, when we are automating the large applications, okay, such as banking applications or online applications, right, or health domain applications. Okay, so on all these kind of projects, it is important to use these log4j's for proof of concepts. Okay, so here what is logging? Logging is a process of how the application is behaving when you are executing or how this application is performing. So we have to capture the logs whether it is going in a proper way or it is having some issues. Okay, for that reason we have to use these log4j's. Okay, so before that, this log4j is provided by the Apache logging services. Okay, this log4j is provided by the Apache logging services. So with the help of this Apache logging services, we can easily track the application functionality. If there are any issues, we can easily track with the help of these log4j and with the help of these loggers, right? So then the next one is, what is log4j in Selenium? So log4j is a logging framework written in Java that provides an easy way for logging in Selenium. Okay, log4j is a logging framework which is written in Java that provides an easy way for logging in Selenium. Okay, so log4j is a kind of framework, so where it is written in some Java language. This log4j will provides an easy way for logging all our steps, the application functionality steps. Okay, so then the log4j provide information if there is something fishy or if there is something went wrong. So with the help of this log4j, so we can easily track that execution or we can track that automation if there is anything wrong, right? So that is what about what is log4j in Selenium. So the next one is, with the help of before using these log4j's, we there are some several components of log4j where we are going to use. Okay, so what are the components of log4j in Selenium? So in log4j in Selenium log4j, so we can have different components such as logger, appenders and layout. Okay, here logger is basically it will capture all the necessary logging information that will be generated using the log4j framework, right? So logger is a basically what it will do, it will capture all the necessary steps, it will capture all the necessary execution steps, that logging information it is going to generate with the help of log4j framework. Okay, so then coming to the appenders, what this appender will do, it will grab the information from the logger and writes log messages to a file or any other storage location. So with the help of these appenders, we can easily grabs the logging information and also we can write these information to any one of our text files or word files or .xlsx files by storing into some other location. So that is about appenders. So here what is the layout? So layout is where the format in which log messages will appear. Okay, layout is where the format in which log messages will appear to be decided. So we can use the layouts depends upon our requirements. Okay, layout is where the format in which log messages will appear. Okay, for example, that log message is appearing, so I have to decide which layout I have to use here. So based upon that, we can have several kind of layouts where we can use to log all our messages, where we can use it for to log our messages for better understanding. So this is about layout component. So coming to the next slide, so here we are going to discuss in brief about all these three components, that is logger, appenders and layout. So inside that logger what it is, to discuss furtherly about what is a logger class and log levels method. Okay, so inside this logger component we can have two, one class is logger class and the other one is log levels method. Here logger class means to fully use the logger, create an instance for a logger class where all the generic methods will be at the user's disposal, which will prompt you to use this log4j. With the help of logger class, so we can create some instance for that particular logger class, so where this logger class is having some generic methods which will be completely depends upon the user's choice only. So these, before going to use these methods, we need to require with the help of log4j. With the help of log4j, we can use all the methods, generic methods which are all present inside this logger class. So we are going to use this one. So the next one is log levels. This is a method. Okay, log levels is a method where it will be used to print the log messages inside our console part. Okay, log levels are the method, log levels is a method, so where it will be helpful for logging all our messages inside the console. For example, I can say what is a log level means, suppose if I want to provide some information with the help of logger.info, I can use that level. With the help of, if I want to print any warn messages, so I can use that warn method. If there is anything wrong, if there is anything went wrong, so I want to put into some fatal message, so I can use with the help of fatal method. So I can use that method inside our log, so that you will get accordingly the information about that fatal message inside your console. This is about log levels. So in this log levels we can have various kind of levels. What just now what we discussed, that is warning or info or fatal. So these kind of messages we can segregate it into some levels, that is information, log.info, logger.warn and logger.fatal, right? So the first one here is all. This is also one method which is coming from the loggers class. So add this all component, so we are going to use this level will prioritize and including everything inside these logs. Okay, so this level will prioritize and include everything in logs with the help of all method. Where this all method is coming from, this all method is coming from log levels method, right? Log levels method, under this log levels method we can have this all method. So what does this all method will do? This all method will prioritize and include everything inside these logs. Suppose if I want to capture all the logs and keeping into the same line of code, so I want to use here, I have to use this all method. So in the same way for error, so this level will show messages that information users about error events that may not the stop application. Okay, this error method what it will do, it will show the messages and it will inform the users about the error events. For example, if there is any web element is not able to click, so during that time I want to get some information from the log4j framework, right? So during that time, with the help of this error method, we can easily get the loggers from log4j framework. So we can use this error method here. So in the same way we can have warn debug, info and fatal. One, what it will do, it will show the information regarding warnings that may not stop the execution but may still cause problems. Okay, it won't, with the help of this warn message, it is not going to stop your application execution, but it will always tell you there are some problems with this line of code. There are some problems with the when Selenium is trying to click on some element. Okay, these are all the warning messages where we are going to capture and store into our log4j framework. So in the same way we can have debug, and also we can have info, and also we can have fatal. So these are all the log levels where we are going to use inside our log4j framework if we are using these loggers. Okay, so the next one is appenders. Okay, as we discussed already, what is appenders? Appender is basically grabbing the information from the logger and writing some messages to a file which is going to store into some other location. Here files in the form of .xlsx file or word file or txt file or csv file. So which file, based upon the requirements, you can use that file inside your log4j inside your frameworks. Okay, so appenders, right? So here appenders also we can differentiate likewise. The first one is files appender method, the second one is rolling file appender, the third one is daily rolling file appender, the last one is console appender. Files appender means it will log some message to a file. Okay, this level of file appender which will log some message to your file, where we are going to grab the information from log and we are going to store this into some file, that is txt or word file or csv file. Okay, with the help of this files appender we can easily log the message and we can store into some file. Okay, so in the same way we can have one more method here, that is rolling file appender. What is this rolling file appender? It will perform the same function as file appender. Okay, rolling file appender is also doing the same functionality like files appender only, but users will specify the maximum file size here. With the help of rolling file appender we can specify the how much memory you want to have in that file. We can mention once, if the limit is exceeded what you mentioned, if the limit is exceeded what you have mentioned for that particular file, this appender will create by defaultly one more new file. Okay, suppose if I mention like my file size like 10 MB. Okay, once if I get all the logs with the help of files appender, so with the help of this rolling file appender, if that limit size exceeded more than 10 MB, it will automatically create one default file to write all the log messages into that new file. Okay, in the same way we can have daily rolling file appender method. It is specifying the frequency by which methods are going to return into that file. Okay, it will tell you the frequency by which messages which are going to be written into that file with the help of appenders concept. The last one is console appender. With the help of this console appender, so we are going to simplify to write the log messages or to be written to the file. Okay, with the help of this console appender we will simplify writing the log messages which are going to be written into that particular file what we created just now. Okay, with the help of this console appender we are going to simplify writing the log messages into that particular file which to be written. Okay, this is all about appenders. The last one is here pattern layout. What is the layout here? We already discussed about layout also. Layout is where the format in which the log messages will appear to be decided. Okay, there are several layouts are available where we are going to use or capture all these log messages. Okay, so here layout means the first one is pattern layout method. User have to specify the conversion pattern based upon the logs will be displayed. Okay, based upon the logs you are getting from the console, we are going to specify some conversion pattern to store all these logs inside any layout in the form of layout. Okay, if we are not converting any pattern here, what it will do, it will take some default conversion pattern in case of no pattern specified. If I am not going to specify any pattern for my text file, by defaultly this pattern layout will create some default conversion pattern, then it will store automatically. So the next layout is HTML layout. In this layout, the format of logs will be in the form of HTML table. Okay, if we are not using this HTML layout, it will specify some conversion pattern based upon the logs which are displaying in the console part. Okay, if we are not making any conversion pattern, then what it will do, it will convert by defaultly. This pattern layout will convert your pattern in case of no pattern specified. Whereas HTML layout, this layout will format of logs will be in the form of an HTML table, right? HTML layout means this layout will specifies the format of logs will be available in the form of HTML table only. HTML layout will specifies all your logs in the form of HTML table. Okay, the last one is XML layout. This XML layout will show you the logs in an XML format. Okay, suppose if I am using some .xml, with the help of this XML layout, so I can easily capture all the logs and it will store in the format of XML format. Okay, whereas pattern layout will specify the some conversion pattern. As an user, we have to specify some conversion pattern to store all our logs. If we don't mention any pattern, if we don't do any conversion pattern, so then this method will create some conversion pattern for you to store all your logs. Whereas if we come to HTML layout, with the help of this HTML layout, we can capture and store all our logs in the format of HTML table. Whereas XML layout means this will show all your logs in the format of XML format. Okay, XML format. So this is all about the logs and what are all the components of log4j in Selenium, and what is a logger, what are all the appenders, and what is a layout. Okay, so this is how we can learn about this loggers concept inside our Selenium. Here log4j is also a kind of framework which is provided by Apache software services. Okay, Apache software services. So then how we can add this log4j inside our Selenium? If I am not using Maven project, if I am using some plain project, so we can add this log4j jar file directly inside our build path under libraries tab. Okay, under libraries tab you can add this log4j as an external jar, so then you can able to easily get all these logs inside your console. If I am working with Maven project, so how we can add this jar file inside our Maven project, I will show you. So for example, you can consider this as our, okay, you can consider it is my pom.xml file, so where I can add all our dependencies which are related to Apache Py files. I mean, like to deal with XLSX files, I can use this Apache Py dependency tag. And also if I am using my Selenium version, I can use the same tag which is coming from the Maven repository. If I am using some testng version, I can use this dependency. So in the same way, if we are working with log4js, we can have one dependency tag, that is log4j tag, I mean log4j dependency. With the help of this log4j dependency, you can easily add your logger information. If you can see here, I added one line of log4j line. You can see this line. So here we can see logger. Okay, if I mouse over here, it is telling logger class, right? Logger is also a class. Just now what we discussed here, logger is a class, right? So logger is basically capturing all the necessary logging info that will be generated using the framework. Okay, so let us try to achieve, like, what are all the methods, I mean what are all the levels we can use here. If you can see that debugging, okay, if you can see here that one more is there, right? Debugging. Okay, debug, this level will log debugging information. So if you go to your Eclipse, after keeping this logger dot, you can see debug. Okay, it will tell you about debugging information. Log a message at the debug level. Okay, log a message within a specified marker at the debug level. So these are all the levels, okay, debugging, and also we can have info, warning. You can see here info, okay. See, log a message at the information level, log a message with marker at info level. So in the same way we can have different methods where we can use it for information level. So in the same way for warning also, you can see here warn, right. So here you can see here warn level, log a message at the warn level, log a warning message at log a message with a specified marker at warn level. So in the same way we can have different levels here. So let me open our previous one. Here we discussed about info and also we discussed about warn. So now we can see about error logger level, right. So logger dot error, okay. Here you can see log a message at the error level, log a message at error with specify marker at the error level. So these are all the levels just now what we discussed. So in the same way let us let me check for logger dot all. You can see we don't have any logger dot all here. So with the help of these all, will prioritize and include everything here means error level, warn level, debug level, but we don't have any method which is telling about all level, okay. So we can consider here all means we can consider all this debug level, and also we can consider this info level, and also we can consider this error level, and also we can consider this warn level, and also we can consider the debug level as well. So these are all the levels we can easily suppose. For example, logger dot info I can use here. Logger dot info, we will see whether we can able to print or not. My first log I am mentioning, my first log is here, okay. My first log, I am just providing some information log here. What is it mean? Info means this log will log the progress of the application, okay. My first log is here. So for this one my first log is here. Now I am going to my electronic page. So here I want to click on this electronics link, right, dot click, okay. Once it is done, so I want to use my logger dot, sorry, we have to use public, right. If we want to use it from globally, I have to mention it as public, okay, public, okay. So now if you go back to your logger, okay, logger, you can see logger dot, what it mean. Now I am going to use, we already used logger dot info, in the same I am going to use logger dot warn message, okay, warn level. So this is my warn level logger, okay, warn level logger, okay. So we will see whether it is, okay. Let me do up to here only. Let me comment the remaining coding part. So we will see whether we are getting logs or not inside our console part. So this is very important for an automation tester, so where you are experienced guy. So these are all about log4j, and also what is logger in Selenium, and what are all the components we can have inside this loggers concept, and what are the levels we can see, like all, error, warn, debugging, right. These are all the 4 or 5 levels we can have when we are working with log4js, okay. It is very useful when we are working with some big applications, okay. So now it's done. So let's go back to my Eclipse. You can see here it is having some issue or something, okay. Yeah, it is giving some failure here. Delete product from cart, right. No such element exception. So let me go back to here. So let me comment this method as well, okay. So now go back to my electronics page. logger.warn. Okay, after this cart page. Okay, and one more which I use here, logger.info. We will see. Let's try to get all these logs. Okay, let me execute it one more time. So it is very important concepts when you are working with some big projects or some good frameworks like page object model or cucumber framework or bdd, I mean, or data driven framework or hybrid framework or modular driven framework also. Okay, so now let me see here, are we getting loggers or not? No, we are not getting, right? Okay, let me add these logs at my page level only, so that we will see. Okay, electronics page dot class, right? We will see to get it from here. Okay, and in the same way for generics also we mentioned already. So now let me execute it one more time, whether we are getting logs or not, we will see. So this is all about loggers concept. It is very easy to learn, and also in interview or also in interview, during your interviews there will be one question which is related to loggers concept, log4j's concept. Okay, so it is very important to know about what is a logging concept and how we can use this log4j's and what are all the components we can have with if we are working with log4j inside our Selenium. Okay, so it is the most important concept, guys. So now currently I am not able to get any logs here, but this is all about log4j concept in Selenium. Okay, so that's all it for now. So let's recap it one more time. So far we discussed about how to use log4j in Selenium. Before that, what is logging, what is log4j in Selenium, and what are the components of log4j in Selenium, and what are all the levels we can have, and what is a logger class, and what are all the levels we can have under log levels method. We can have all these levels, that is error, warn, debug and info, and what is appenders and what is a layout. Okay, so this is all about log4j concept. So please do a like and subscribe to our channel Selenium Tech Automation, which helps me a lot to do more videos in coming days as well from both manual and automation testing. So and also don't forget to share my video. So your share will important for me, because your share will recommend this video for more people, where those people will also looking for the same kind of video. Okay, so thanks guys, thank you so much. So we will meet with our next video. So until then, take care everyone, have a nice day. Signing off, Selenium Tech Automation. Thanks guys.